Hi everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my weekly tea time and a card. I was just going to give it a few seconds. I can see everyone hopping on to be with me tonight. As you can see, I'm using the Beary Cute bundle tonight. I had a poll on my Facebook group. If you don't belong to my Facebook group when you watch this on YouTube, Stampin' Ink Designs group, just look for me, ask to join, and I'll approve you. So I had a poll this week. I wanted to know if everyone wanted a technique or a card fold using the Beary Cute suite. So you can see what happened. This had more votes, so I am using the Beary Cute stamp set. Now this is a bundle that will be available on September 6th from the new mini catalog. I can't show you what's inside just yet until the catalog goes live, but I thought I would show you the whole suite before I get started. I'm not using everything in the suite. I am using the stamp set, Beary Cute. I'm using the Beary Cute punch. Let me see if I can, there you go. You can see it's the bear shape, the polar bear. And then the designer paper, I think I showed this last week, but I'm going to show it again. I've used quite a bit of it already. So some of these have images that you can cut out with the punch. I think it's actually this one right here. This is what I'm using tonight. So you can see there's pieces missing from this sheet. It's the little paw prints. We have the gifts, a little scenery, some more critters, and this one here is my favorite. I love the little scenery going on with the icebergs floating. Let me just quickly show you the back. Reminds me of cardigan sweaters. There's 3 of those, 3 different colors. And then we have the trees and 2 with snowflakes. So very pretty paper. So I'm using all 3 of those products tonight. The 2 that I am not using that are part of the suite, the adhesive back glitter sequins. I showed everyone how flat these are for mailing. I'm actually going to take one off and put it on my paper piercer just to show you guys how flat these are. So very flat for mailing, and they are really, really glittery and shimmery. Okay, those are called adhesive back glitter sequins. And then the last part of that suite is the, let me see, I can't remember what this is called, sparkle ribbon. And it truly does sparkle. It's in the balmy blue color. You can see there's sparkly glitter all over it. And it's really soft, it's not stiff, so it'll be easy to work with as far as making bows. Now, let me show you what else I'm using. Ink colors, Night of Navy, Real Red, and Old Olive. Oh, and if you stay till the end, I'm going to show you another suite that I'll be using next week. I have some scraps that I'll be using for my stamping. I have Very Vanilla and Old Olive, just scraps. I'll show you the card after I give you all the measurements. Thick, Very Vanilla, and that's 11. We're using the whole length of the sheet, 11 by 5.5. Designer paper, let me get my ruler. This one measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and then 2 pieces, 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. I've gone ahead and cut out this rectangle. Let me dig out the die so you'll know which one I'm using. It's the Scallop Contours, and it's the one right in the middle. And that's with Very Vanilla. I have 3 strips of Very Vanilla, 4 inches. Now these are weird measurements, you'll understand once I start gluing. I'll bring this close. So it's 1 1/13/16. I know a lot of you guys are going to cringe. Let me show you where that is. So when you count, I know a lot of you guys have a hard time with fractions. When you count your lines between the inches, it's the little tiny one. So you're going to count 13 of those. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. This one right here. So 3 lines before the 2. And then I have 3 for the designer paper. 3 3/4 by 1 9/16. So again, the 1, and then you go 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So it's the line after the halfway point. So those are all the pieces I need. And let me bring the card in. Now this is called a fancy gatefold. A gatefold is when the card is folded this way and you have 2 panels in the front. We're doing that, but we're adding to it. So this is what the front looks like. There's your 3 strips of the very vanilla and the designer paper. Then this pulls. So you can see I have designer paper hiding behind those 3 strips. And here is the rest of my card. So I'm going to stand it up just so you can see the position of all the pieces. You can see this is the card base right here. And then we glue all 3 pieces. The one in the middle, I made it so that it tucks behind the trees. And the trees kind of hold it closed. So that's what I'm showing you today. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is bring in the scoring tool. And we're going to score 4 times. So again, this is 11 inches long, 1.5, 3.5. You could flip and do the same thing or keep going to 7.5 and 9.5. So again, 1.5, 3.5, 7.5, and 9.5. I'm going to go ahead and fold on the score lines, and you're going to fold towards the middle on the inside score line, then fold out. Now the card that I saw that was made like this, oh, I just did my nails, you guys, and look, I'm getting black polish all over. It's going to be covered anyway. So the card that I got the idea from, it was actually 12-inch cardstock, but because I really don't carry my 12-inch cardstock, I altered it so that this piece is shorter, and I kind of like that look anyway. If you had a 12 piece, it would go even with each side. Okay, so that's what the card fold looks like. Now let me make some room so I can bring the card in. So the first thing I'm going to work on is the middle. We're going to glue this large piece of designer paper inside. Okay, so that's going to go right here. I did notice on this paper that make sure that your bows are facing upwards. It could be upside down. You could have upside down bows if you're not careful. Then I'm going to glue the scalloped rectangle right smack dab in the middle. Night of Navy ink. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my little bear first. And I'm quickly going to bring in a blender pen. And I'm going to grab some of that ink from the ink lines and just add a little bit of shading. Let me see, I need a scrap paper just so I can wipe some of that off. And then I'm just going to make it go lighter. I'll bring this up so you guys can see what very little shading I did. And that's just using the ink from the inked lines. Now I need to add Mama Bear. So I'm going to grab one of my, nope, that's not my scrap. Here's my scraps. I should make sure you guys are there, you know that? I didn't even look to see if you guys are with me. Yes, I can see you. Okay, now let me grab my Mama Bear. I'm going to stamp her on Beary Vanilla. I'm going to do the same thing. Just use the ink lines just to add a little bit of shading. And when I do this, I like to keep going to lighten it up so I don't have any lines showing. Sometimes you might end up with a little bit too much ink, so you can just wipe it off like I'm doing. I like to make it fade. Okay, there's the head. Now I'm going to fade that over. Okay, there's my mama bear. Here's my punch. And because this is on the inside of the card, I'm going to actually glue her flat. No bumps allowed. Okay, there's the inside. Now I'm going to fold this over. We're going to do the 2 designer paper strips. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, there it is. I thought I lost one. So I'm going to glue both of those on the flap. Again, making sure my bows are right side up. There's my first one. And there's my second one. Now, when I did the strips, you can see there's a little bit of spacing there. I made sure they were even on the top, only because if they were to butt against each other, it would be hard to go this way. That's why you have such the weird fractions, just so it makes it easier. So I'm going to bring all 3 of these in. And you'll notice that one is glued in the middle and on the middle, but on the right side, and 2 on the left side. So I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive on the top and bottom. Make sure this is nice and flat because we want this to be even. Okay, there's my first one. Here is my second one, and the third one is going to go right in the middle, but on the right side. Okay, I need to put this way so I can make sure this is even on both sides, just a little bit of spacing. And there's our mechanism. I just got glue on here. Let me wipe that off. I want to see if I can take my nail polish off. What a mess that's making. I just did my nails like an hour ago, so. Okay, now we're going to add the 3 strips. And what I did with my strips, it's a continuous piece, so I want to make sure I line them up. I think this one goes up here. The middle one is the one I add the sentiment to. Warm Wishes with Night of Navy. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp right on the designer paper. Not much stamping tonight. And then we're going to glue these in place. I'm just going to add adhesive to all 3. This one's going to go up here. Number 2. And number 3. And you'll see when I close these that they match up. You can see the design matches up. You could leave it this way if you wanted to, but I wanted to add a little bit. And again, it helps by having these trees, it helps to keep this closed. Now, what I did, there's no punch or die for these trees. Let me bring in Old Olive. I have the detailed stamp and I have the outline stamp. I'm going to do 2 outlines on Old Olive, and I'm going to do the detail on Very Vanilla. I wanted these trees to not have any stamping on them. So what I did here is just made myself an outline so that I can cut. It's serving as a pattern. And I'm actually going to flip it to the other side where there's no stamping once I glue it. So again, I'm just using this as a pattern. It makes it easy to cut. Because if you were to glue just the very vanilla tree on there, it didn't stand out enough. So that's why I opted to add the color behind it. So normally I would have these cut out ahead of time. But guess what? Tonight you get to watch me cut. Okay, there's my first one. You can see how quick it is when you have the lines to follow, and you don't have to be perfect because these are going to be flipped the other way. If I was to have these facing front, I would have left 1/8 of an inch outline, but I don't have to worry about that this time. So I'm almost done with this one, and the next one is kind of a freehand thing. Okay, so I'm going to flip those over. Now I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch around the stamping. You can't mess up on this one either. This is so easy, you guys. When you get to the top, just round it. No messing up. This is easy. It's just a bunch of curves. Now I'm going to follow these. All done. Look how quick that was. 3 of them. Now I'm going to glue these flat. I'm going to use liquid glue, and just to let you know, these are not attached at the top. So I'm only going to add glue about 2 sections high. So we're going to glue one on the left. The one on the right, I went a tad bit higher just to give it a different height. Okay, I just want to make sure there's no glue behind there. All is good. Now we're going to add the 3rd tree with dimensionals. I didn't even add any bling. I wanted to add stars to the top of the tree, but I thought with the back and forth motion, it would not work. Okay, there is, you know what? I don't need one up top. Let's peel that off. So there's my 3rd tree. Now I need to do the present, and that's with Real Red. And again, with my blender pen, we're just gonna spread that ink. I like coloring with ink lines because it's so subtle. Okay, there's my coloring. Now this one is easy, just snip 4 times. And as soon as I'm done this card, I'm going to show you guys another bundle that I'm going to use next week. Okay, this one has dimensionals as well. And we're going to tuck that right under that first tree, just like that. Okay, let me make some room. I'm going to open this one up. There's the closed. And let me show you another bundle or suite that you'll be able to buy on September 6th. This one is for fall. Now you guys know I love butterflies and leaves. Those are 2 things that are always first on my list. So when I saw these leaves, I had to have them. This is the autumn leaves. Lots of dies on this one. This is a 12-piece set. I'm going to open this up. I actually put 2 magnets back to back so I could fit all the dies. So you can see you got the outline dies, you got the detail dies, and then you even have some veins that you can cut and add to a leaf you would cut this way. And look how pretty, whoops, I got a leaf here. Look how pretty that stamp set is. I love the detail. So you'll see me use that next week. We also have the adhesive back speckled dots. Comes in 4 colors. I'm going to try to see if you can see the detail. There's actually little specks on these, and they have glitter on them also. I'm going to try not to move too much. I'm trying to make it sparkle. You can see how pretty these are. They remind me of eggs. They just look like little speckled eggs. And then I have some new, oh, we forgot this, distressed tile. And this, the embossing is lighter in some areas than others. That's why it's the distressed look. I really like that. And the designer paper, let me move these. These all have like a copper foil to them. We got this design. Same thing. Look at this one. Oh, and this is called All About Autumn. It's 4. This is all the same pattern. Well, no, this is more like a flowery. I love the colors. And of course we have a second side. So you see the distressing in this. You see some of the lighter. That's kind of what the embossing folder does. It's got the same distressed look. Two more and then I'll flip them over. I just love the colors. Okay, now let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Some books. Leaves. This kind of has like a fabric ripple look to it. This looks like the state of Maine in the month of September and October. All the beautiful foliage. Oh, this does too. I haven't even looked at the second side yet. This is new to me also. Oops, wait a minute. I lost one. The wood grain. Another fabric. Looked like almost like a cable knit with some, what do I want to say? I don't know what the word is I want to say. Like the raised bumpy edges. Oh, I love this one. It's funny, I just looked at side 1. I never looked at side 2. There's some more books. Some leaves. And the last one looks like leather. So that's the suite I'm going to use next week. So let me just push these aside and bring the cards back in, and I will pick a name on Facebook tomorrow morning, and one of you guys will win this card. So thanks for joining me tonight, everyone. I hope you like my card, the Fancy Gatefold Card Fold. I will see you next week with a 3D project using the sheet, the suite. Have a good week, everyone, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.